parents, teachers, staff, students, family members, friends, I'm honored to be here today to share this important occasion with you. Parents, thank you for sending your children to school. Teachers, thank you for instilling in your pupils a love of knowledge. Staff, you have worked largely behind the scene, but your work is no less important than of others. School could not run without you. Students, thank you for your hard work. May this day mark the beginning of a lifelong commitment to education and progress. Family members and friends, thank you for your wisdom and support. You are the community that has supported these students and instilled in them the values that will take into their adult lives. May you always be proud of their successes. There are 549 of you graduating today. You are a very accomplished and talented group of students. More than 95% of you met Maryland High School assessment standards for math, science, English, and government. In addition, more than 95 of you have taken at least one honor or college bound. You certainly have the ability to distinguish yourself in your studies in life. You have accomplished what you have accomplished here is something many people all over the world still struggle for and hope to accomplish. You live in a free society where men and women have equal rights and where girls and boys benefit from free and compulsory education. Higher education is available to those who seek it. U.S. women earn more college degrees than men, and they are increasingly acknowledged for their accomplishments and contributions. And they are to live lives that many others can only dream of. Women are able to speak out, teach, and enjoy full lives without fear of being persecuted for who they are and what they do. Things are very different from where I come from. For those who may not know my story, I am from the north of Pakistan. My father believed in education for girls, and he encouraged me and allowed me to study. He taught me to speak out and to stand up for what I believed in. I was a child, and at first, I didn't really understand what that meant. However, the society in which we live was repressive, and many disapproved of my father and for going to school. I had to hide my book under my shawl. On October 9, 2012, while I was riding a bus home from school, I was shot in the head by a member of the Taliban because of who I was and what I represented. I was only 15. On that day, I almost lost my life. But thanks to the skills, care, and generosity of many, I survived. I became the person I am today. My attackers wanted to silence me, but I will not be silent. I am more determined than ever to speak out. The persecution and violence I suffered at the hands of the Taliban is the result of ignorance and fear of change. Terrorists are afraid of education for women and girls because they themselves are illiterate and feel threatened by books because they don't understand what is in them. Ignorance breeds poverty, injustice, and racism. Books have the power to communicate ideas that transcend time. Think of accumulated wisdom of John Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and many others who came before them. Think of the power of the words. Think of the power of their words have on us, even today, when they're gone, because they are preserved in books they wrote and the books that have been written about them. You are fortunate to live in a free society, but you should not take your freedom for granted. You must, to protect the freedom that earlier generations struggled to give you, and you must work to advance peace in other parts of the world where there are people who are not fortunate as you. In much of the world today, there are many who are being denied their rights, especially women and children. Millions are still suffering. How you do is up to you. John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Mandela, Mother Teresa distinguished themselves in different fields, different places, but what they had in common was passion. Each of them believed in something they were willing to die for. Many of you are probably still undecided about what you want to study and what you want to do with your life. But you must find your passion. It may sound strange, but in some ways, I was very fortunate to have had the experience I did, because it made me realize at a very young age that time is limited, and that a person with a passion can change the world if she is willing to act and speak out about what she believes in. I was fortunate to have a father who encouraged me to study in spite of the repressive environment in which we were living. You are also fortunate to have grown up in America and to have had so many educational opportunities. Find your passion. As Steve Jobs once said, your time is limited, so don't waste it living on someone else's life. Don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. You are young adults now, getting ready to take your first independent step in the world. Many of you have the good fortune to attend college. You have the right and the opportunity to further your education, to speak up for what you believe in. You have the right to vote. Use your voice to speak up for freedom and equality and education for all. It's time to call on your world leaders to invest more in education. Tell them that we need more schools, both here and around the world. Education is the best weapon against terrorism and the best guarantee of peace and prosperity. Words have the power to change the world. You have the power to change the world. You have the power to make a difference. I will leave you with my favorite quote from John F. Kennedy. Children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for future. You are on the verge of other world. Find your passion and join me. Let's go and change the world. Thank you for having me here today.